Mid-quest. What's the one thing that blows your mind every time you think about it? That everyone has their own life and I'm a side character. The size of the galaxy and universe. I can't even begin to comprehend it. The fact that the stars, planets, celestial bodies we see from Earth could be long gone based on the increasingly large amount of time it takes for light to travel from them to us. That I have probably driven past a few houses with kidnapped people being trapped inside. Every time I think of a brilliant plan to change the world, I realize there are 7 billion consciousnesses on this planet with different ideals and memories and goals and dreams. DJ Khaled is in some bathroom pointing at his belly in the mirror and saying another one, and some Muslim girl is arguing with her dad about wearing hijab when they are alone on the farm doing chores, and some old Japanese man is going to catch his last fish and lay in his bed and die later. It's weird that any of this works at all, at times. How individual people who are part of a group that does hateful, awful things to others can be so kind and empathic one-on-one. The converse as well. How people who fight for justice for the downtrodden and devote their lives to activism can be horribly toxic people, repeatedly hurting those around them for their own gain. The universe either goes on forever or there is a border to it. Both of those things are difficult to conceptualize. As is with most major beliefs, we either cease to exist at some point, or we live for eternity in an afterlife. Both of those things are hard to imagine. The amount of people in the world. There are so many people, all different and unique. There are also people living in completely different situations than you, who go about their day-to-day lives way different. All these people and you'll only really meet a fraction of them. Why isn't there nothing? Why does anything exist at all? Movies. We've made it so successfully as a species that we have a whole industry and a wealth of jobs just devoted to hour-long entertainment sessions. When a pregnant woman swims, they are basically a human submarine. The oldest living person has witnessed the deaths of billions of people. That I was born, the chances of that happening are so small. How many chances I must have missed in my life. There's a lot more ants than humans. A lot more. How small and insignificant humanity is in the grand scheme of it all. Emotions. They serve next to no use yet. They are what give meaning to everything on a personal level. I think circles around the concept of emotions. That one day this human being, me, would leave this world. During the night, your intervertebral discs relax and expand. That is why you are 1% taller in the morning than in the evening. That this experience of existence is so deeply tied to both good and bad things. That regardless of how we perceive an event, it is still a part of something so profoundly beautiful and balanced. Even our ability to perceive it comes from cataclysm and extinction. On a cosmic scale, stars exploded and planets collided to create the conditions that allow us to exist. On a human scale, all of the good and all of the bad in history come together to form the life I am experiencing, and what I identify as myself could not exist without it. Relativity. Still remember walking out of my year 12 physics class after learning about it for the first time and not being able to focus on anything else for the rest of the day. Wowee. The size of the universe. It is literally beyond comparisons most times. True comparison. There are more stars in all the universe than there are grains of sand on all the beaches in the world. The universe is expanding, so presumably its outer edges are pushing into nothingness. I just can't grasp the concept of void. Like literal particles of matter are touching nothing, not just empty space but nothing. That the Beatles released all of their work in under 10 years. Stopped touring halfway because they wanted to focus on records. And became arguably the biggest rock band of all time in that time span. The concept of dying, that once we die life is over. I could think about it in circles for hours and still never be able to fully grasp the concept. Life is so short. How well mathematics describes the natural world. For example, it amazes me that 4 little equations describe the behavior of electromagnetic radiation, or how gravity can be so well described by one simple equation. That for all I know, I was born just now with all memories of my life implanted into my head mere seconds ago, even my memories of a few seconds ago seeing this post. Technology in general, how far we've come in relatively such a short amount of time, and how far we'll most likely go within even the rest of my own lifetime, in my 20s. For example, my family immigrated to Canada back in 2001 when international phone calls cost a fortune, so my mom and dad still had to write letters to Kazakhstan to communicate with family members. 18 years later and we can instantly communicate through things like WhatsApp and video chat with people all over the world for free. My father got to be with my grandfather on his deathbed so many times through Skype, although being all the way in Canada. I can see what my cousins are up to all the time because of Instagram stories. I actually found a long lost cousin through Russian social media, and so much more. I don't think people realize too often just how lucky we are to have these little phones and technologies at our use 24/7. That I'm going to die. The observable universe is the only part of the universe that actually matters to us because everything outside that zone is completely inaccessible to us due to physics. Anything beyond that point is physically impossible for us to reach, and more stuff leaves every day. The fact that some people actually have absolutely no touch with reality and can still vote. That every single human being on Earth right now is alive because each one of their ancestors had 6, and most likely intentionally. And so if you were to deliberately not have children, as many people in today's society choose to do, you would be the first in your entire lineage to not procreate. That my girlfriend loves me, like I've never been in a relationship till 6 months ago, and I still don't believe that someone loves me because she is so sweet, awesome, pretty, like she is perfect in any aspect. I feel like I don't deserve her love. How good the game Earthbound is. Eternity. Imagine you walk around the equator. Every time you finish one round, you put one corn of sand in your pocket. When you finally collected all corns, you do the same in reverse and put one back every time you circle the earth. Finally, when you put them all back, repeat that process. Every 10 times you went through that process, place one stone on the starting line. For every 100 stones you placed, have a drink. And for every 100 drinks, have a meal. And once you've had about 10,000,000,001 meals, eternity has not yet begun. That's how long you will be dead. Still hope for an afterlife.